Which of these mistakes are you guilty of? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I might even feature your question in the next episode. And hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of our natural hair tips series. The Crowned Conversation series is here and I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new here, my name is Gladys Michael, and on this channel, I share all kinds of natural hair regimens plus all the good stuff. You can check it out. So I just introduced a new series in this channel, The Crowned Conversations, and we are going deeper. We are talking about the everyday habits and mistakes that affect our natural hair growth. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's not the regimens that are failing us. It is the little things that you don't realize that you're doing wrong. Today we are starting with a big one. The common mistakes that are silently stopping your hair from growing. So stick with me to the end because I'll also be sharing how we can fix some of these mistakes starting from today, and I would also like you to comment on the comment section down below how you fix some of these issues that you're going to discuss here today. So mistake number one is over manipulation. How much do you manipulate your hair? Natural hair is beautiful, it is versatile, and it is so fun to style. But every time you're constantly combing, you're constantly brushing your hair, you're twisting your hair, you're braiding your hair, or even you're changing the hairstyles, you are putting stress on your hair strands, and this makes them prone to breakage. Now think about it, our hair is so fragile, it thrives when it is left alone. If you're restyling every single day, even just with your bare hands, you're increasing the chances of breaking your hair. If you're braiding your hair today and tomorrow you are unbraiding your hair, you're increasing the chances of breaking your hair. So the thing is, sticking to low manipulation styles like, the twist, the braids, or just some simple puffs that can last a few days. When you spend hours installing some mini twist on a Saturday, and then by Tuesday you are already retwisting half of them because they look messy, that's over manipulation. Instead of helping, you're just stressing your strands. Remember that protective styles are actually so good, but they will only work if they are actually protecting your hair, not stressing your hair. On to mistake number two, skipping moisture. Moisture is very, very important to your hair. So mistake number two is skipping moisture. Have you ever taken down your braids after 3 weeks and your hair feels like straw? That is what happens when you don't moisturize your hair in between. Our hair doesn't survive on wash day alone. It needs water during the week too. And even on a protective style, you need to moisturize your hair. I have a video on my channel on how I usually moisturize my hair, especially when I'm on a protective style, because whether your hair is open or it is protected, it needs that moisture. It really needs that moisture for it to thrive. You can watch this video down here on how you can moisturize your hair in a protective style. Now, natural hair loves water. Without it, our hair becomes brittle and breaks off faster than it grows. And what's the problem? Many of us only moisturize on wash day and then forget for the rest of the week. That feeling when your hair is dry by day 2, that's your own hair crying out for hydration. So it is important that always you use a leave-in spray or even a DIY mix. You can use maybe aloe vera water or rosemary spray a few times a week, and then after using this water, don't just leave it like that. It is very important that you seal in that moisture with a light oil or maybe a butter or a cream. Personally, my hair loves the LCO method, that is the liquid and then cream and then oil. Hair types are different, and also it depends with your hair porosity. So right now the LCO method is working so well on my hair. So when I'm using this method, I use a leave-in or water base, that is the liquid, and then I apply the cream and then seal in with an oil. When you apply oil without moisture, it only leaves your hair with too much shine but dry hair. So it is very important that before you apply oil, ensure your hair is very well moisturized. Something else, always have a satin bonnet or maybe a satin pillowcase before you sleep, because what happens is that cotton will suck out all that moisture overnight. And then if you have moisturized your hair in the evening, maybe before you sleep, ensure that you have a satin bonnet or a satin pillowcase, because cotton will suck out all that moisture overnight. So when you sleep, in the morning when you're waking up, you think your hair is moisturized, but all the moisture is gone. Moisture is the lifeline of your hair, and without it, length retention is almost impossible. So anytime before combing your hair, ensure that your hair is moisturized, because the moisture increases your hair elasticity and therefore there is less breakage. Mistake number 3 is ignoring trims. I don't know whether you agree with this or you don't agree with this. Let me know in the comment section down below. I once held onto my ends for almost a year because I didn't want to lose length. You don't want to lose those inches. But guess what? My hair kept snapping higher up and I ended up trimming even more than if I had just cut those split ends earlier. So what lesson did I learn from this? Save that length before it is too late. This one can be hard to hear because so many of us are attached to length. The truth is, keeping split or those frayed ends doesn't make your hair longer, it makes it weaker. The more your hair splits, it becomes weaker and prone to damage. I wouldn't give a time frame on when you should trim your hair, but personally, whenever I notice those tiny split ends, I end up trimming the hair just to make sure that the split ends are not moving up higher and higher, because that will cause much more damage. Maybe you can do it once a year or anytime you notice the split ends, but not always. It is just like a maintenance way to keep your hair healthy. Now, mistake number 4 is using excessive heat. Blow drying on the highest setting every wash day seems harmless until you notice tiny broken pieces of hair. Our mistake number 4 is using excessive heat, and this one can cost you a lot. When you're blow drying your hair on the highest setting every wash day, it seems harmless until you notice tiny broken pieces of hair on your shoulders. Consistent high heat weakens your strands, and this can cause irreversible damage. So maybe when you're blow drying your hair, use a very low heat setting. You can use the medium or low heat when you're blow drying or straightening. Also try using a heat protectant spray, because heat protectant sprays create a barrier between your hair and the tool. So it will prevent your hair from that much breakage. Also, you can try heatless methods. You can stretch your hair without heat. Maybe you can try braiding immediately after washing to avoid shrinkage. And this works because I always do this. Once I'm out of the shower, after washing my hair, I usually do a braid, maybe 3 on each side, and in the morning my hair is well straightened. I know that my hair is the queen of shrinkage. My hair shrinks a lot. You can also try twisting if you don't know how to braid, or you can use some bands where you do banding of damp hair overnight to stretch the curls without necessarily having to use heat. You can also try to limit the frequency in which you blow dry your hair. You can maybe reserve the heat styling for special occasions instead of every wash day you're using heat on your hair, because that makes your hair strands weak. Instead of blow drying every week, you can alternate with air drying, or maybe you can use a hooded dryer on low setting, maybe for roller sets, to achieve those smooth results safely. A hooded dryer doesn't need that much heat, so it is a much safer option. Mistake number 5, girl, your hair needs to breathe. Overloading on products. Now, overloading on products, layering gel, you want to lay butter, you want to lay the edge control and the hairspray every single day. These might make your style sleek, yes, but by midweek, your strands feel very waxy and very suffocated. Why? Product buildup blocks moisture and leaves your hair very dull. The best thing is to simplify your routine. Maybe stick to a leave-in, a sealant, and one styler for most of the styles. And also, you can clarify your hair on a regular basis. Use a clarifying shampoo, or maybe for a DIY, you can try using apple cider vinegar rinse every month to remove buildup on your hair. Also, when you're using this products, it is important that you apply them in moderation. Use just a dime quarter-sized amount depending on the section, the size, and also the thickness that you want. So for example, if you've been using 4 products, you can switch from the 4 products daily to 2 products every few days, and this can leave your strands feeling much lighter, feeling much bouncier, rather than suffocating your strands without any room for breathing. And also it will make your strands much more moisturized. Now, another mistake that we always do is rough towel drying. This causes a lot of friction on your hair. Now, picture wrapping a regular towel tightly around your wet curls and rubbing vigorously. The result is frizz, weakened ends, and a lot of friction, and this causes a lot of breakage to your hair. So from now henceforth, if you've been using a rough towel, you can switch to a microfiber towel or maybe an old t-shirt to preserve your cuticles and reduce breakage. Also, when you're using this microfiber towel or a t-shirt, just pat or gently squeeze out excess water instead of rubbing. You just need to pat it gently on your hair instead of causing a lot of friction. Rubbing, you want to dry your hair, just pat it gently. Or else, or if you have a lot of time, you are around the house, you can just leave your hair to air dry. Also, on air dry, allow your hair to partially air dry before styling to prevent mechanical damage. Do not style your hair when it is very damp. Again, you can practice section drying. You can try to work in section. When you work your section, actually this one works all the time. Part your hair into section to reduce tangles and to reduce frizz. When you work your hair in section, you move very fast. And this is very true because the moment I switched from a regular bath towel to a cotton t-shirt, or rather using a microfiber towel, this resulted in less frizz and fewer split ends for my hair. And also, so many natural hair girls have attested to this method that it really works in reducing hair breakage. Mistake number 7 is washing your hair too frequently. Going 6 weeks without cleansing may seem like protective styling. Going 6 weeks without cleansing may seem like protective styling, but you know, all that sweat, all that dirt and product buildup can suffocate your follicles, and clean hair and clean scalp create an environment for healthy growth of your hair. So every time, set a wash schedule and make sure that you're cleansing every 1 to 2 weeks depending on your scalp needs and styling habits. I usually say that your scalp is like a garden. For your hair to thrive, you need to ensure that your scalp is in good health, that it is in good condition, because your hair grows from the scalp. And if your scalp is not in good condition, your scalp is clogged because of product buildup, then you might not experience new hairs growing. Again, before even washing your hair, before using that shampoo that is on the shelf, ensure that you are using a gentle sulfate-free shampoo, because it will keep the scalp clean without stripping your hair of the natural oils. So even before you go to the counter to purchase those shampoos, before you take it from the shelf, check what is contained in that shampoo. Refresh between washes. Use a water-based spray or maybe light co-wash midweek if you sweat a lot or if you have heavy buildup. For example, you can move from washing every 6 weeks to every 2 weeks, which can lead to fewer itchy scalp issues and healthier, fuller new growth of your hair. When you avoid trims, those splits travel up the hair shaft, your hair thins out and becomes brittle, leading to breakage that sets you back more than a small trim. So trim your ends regularly. I wouldn't give a time frame, but I usually do trims every time I realize that I have split ends. You can look for signs like rough ends, single strand knots, or maybe the fairy knots. And remember that a neat, healthy hairline makes your hair, or hemline, it makes your hair look thicker and actually grow much, much more better. Those are some of the mistakes that might be stopping your natural hair from growing. And the good news is that each of these mistakes is fixable. So growth isn't just about what you apply on your hair. It is about the small habits that make or break your crown. And we shall be discussing more of this. Watch my next video on the reason why your edges are falling and how you can save them. Thank you for being part of Crown Conversation series, our very first episode. Let me hear your thoughts on the comment section down below. And yes, I would love to hear from you. Which of these mistakes are you guilty of? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I might even feature your question in the next episode. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you never miss any tip. Remember to like this video if it helped you and share it with a friend who is on their natural hair journey. You could save them years of frustration. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, your hair is your glory, and with the right care, it will flourish. And wear your hair with confidence. Until next time, see you on my next video.